let me talk specifically to China for a moment. The Chinese actually buying up land in the United States, and not just land, they're buying up farmland. That is a supply chain national security issue in my view. The Chinese are not our friends. We have to acknowledge this. If we're not going to acknowledge that from a country, then we're asleep at the wheel. They are not our friends. They do not have our interests at heart. They want to be the dominant economic and military power on the world. If we can't acknowledge that, then it's going to be so difficult to have the rest of these conversations. We have issues with the Chinese infiltrating our higher levels of institution with their Confucius institutes. We have issues with the Chinese and also with the Russians, in my opinion, with the fact that now it's starting to come to light that they've actually been funding some of the quote-unquote climate change research, which if you study supply chains and look at it, if you're going to get an electric battery or a solar panel, that is from the minerals that are sourced by China. 100%. China dominates the globe in cobalt, lithium, rare earth minerals, nickel, silver. Did I say lithium? I think I said lithium already. So they dominate the globe in that stuff. In the Inflation Reduction Act that was just passed out of the Senate, we are going to essentially spend roughly $320 billion on various climate change associated projects, whether you want to talk about solar panels, $27 billion to the EPA, which is like massively larger than their existing budget for a climate bank, whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, if you believe wholeheartedly 100% that the climate is changing to the detriment of mankind, the question is, why would we give money to the Chinese who do not care about climate emissions to the detriment of mankind? They don't care. And when you go buy these things, you're getting it from the Chinese. You may not be buying it from a quote-unquote company controlled by China, but that company sources their material from a company that is controlled by the CCP, without doubt. Those are the facts. So, in the United States, I talked about nuclear policy earlier. One of the reasons I'm talking so much about nuclear policy is because we have the technology, we have the necessary minerals to mine thorium or uranium in the United States. We can actually create a better nuclear infrastructure system to increase the amount of power on our grid. If you look at the supply chains of nuclear versus solar, it's actually cleaner and it's greener than quote-unquote solar. Even California right now is having issues when you dispose of the solar panels. The minerals are now leaching into the groundwater and contaminating the groundwater. That's all happening. So that's number two with China. We should not be giving them, we should not be appropriating dollars that we know are going to be sourced from the Chinese government. We know this. Number three, they are using slave labor in the Congo for a lot of these minerals. I'm gonna talk now, freely. I'm not talking freely, now I'm gonna talk freely. I'll be damned if I'm gonna vote for money that's gonna be used for slave labor halfway across the globe. There was an economic system that existed in the United States and in Europe that used slave labor. We've done that dance before. I'm not voting for that. Absolutely not. Just not doing it. It is slave labor. That's what the Chinese are using. Let's be 100%. You know, I mean, look, was it cool for the Brits to pay for cotton from America that was harvested by slave labor? Was it cool for them as long as they got to, have nice coats to wear in the wintertime? That was cool. So is it cool for us now? I'm talking about the Brits back in the day. Is it cool now for us to be quote-unquote green here in the United States and say we're saving the planet while in the meantime we know that slave labor is being used to give us the solar panels and electric batteries we're using? No, it's not okay. All right, I'm gonna get off that topic.